If you're trying to conceive or think that you might be pregnant, this video is for you. Today I'm going to be sharing the early pregnancy symptoms and what to expect in your first trimester of pregnancy. In this video today we'll discuss the early pregnancy symptoms and what you can do to try and manage them. The first symptom that we are going to discuss is the missed period. For me, this was the first sign that I might be pregnant when I was pregnant with my first baby, and was also the first sign with this baby. If you haven't watched my previous video, I took a pregnancy test and I am pregnant with my second child. We are very excited very early on, but we'll see how this goes. I'm excited to go on this journey with you. If you are usually really regular with your period, being late a day might be a sign that you are pregnant. I know I was using a period tracker. On the day that I took the test, I was due for my period. Usually it comes right in the morning. It didn't come, so I took the test and I was pregnant. The second common early pregnancy symptom is morning sickness. This is probably the one that you've heard spoken about the most, and it is rough. Morning sickness is when you feel nauseous. It doesn't just happen in the morning. For some people it happens all day, or you may just have a period at night where you feel really nauseous. For me, it's always in the morning. Up until about 10 or 11 o'clock I feel quite sick. I haven't thrown up and I usually don't throw up, so I'm hoping that that won't get worse. But morning sickness and nausea and throwing up could definitely be an early symptom that you are pregnant. Morning sickness usually starts at around 6 weeks and usually just lasts for the first trimester, so up until about 12 weeks, but some people can experience it much later in the pregnancy as well. This morning sickness can also be triggered by certain smells or foods that you eat. As the hormones in our body change, things become imbalanced and we can react to certain foods or smells. One way that I found worked for me with managing my morning sickness was before I even hopped out of bed in the morning, I would have some kind of plain biscuit like the arrowroot ones or the butterscotch biscuits. They really helped me. I'd eat them and then I would get out of bed and then I would feel a lot better for the rest of the day. If your work is flexible, I do recommend starting a bit later in the day so that you can give yourself the time that you need to feel better in the mornings. When I was pregnant with my first baby, I worked in childcare, so there was usually a morning shift or an afternoon shift. So when I was in that early stage of pregnancy and feeling really nauseous, I asked to change my shift to the later shift so that I could sleep in the morning and try and sleep through most of my morning sickness. But now in the job I am in currently, I don't have that option, so I have to get up in the morning anyway, and I'm woken by my toddler. So that's not an option, but thankfully it hasn't been too bad yet, and I'm hoping that it stays that way. The third early pregnancy symptom is fatigue. This one I have felt hard this week. Fatigue is where you're just super tired. Can happen all day, can just happen at night. For me, by 8 o'clock at night, I am absolutely knackered and I need to go to bed. Usually I'm quite a night owl. It wouldn't be rare for me to stay up until 11 o'clock most nights, but at the moment by 9 o'clock I am out. And I sleep until my daughter wakes me up in the morning, which is usually around 6 or 6:30. And even then I'm still tired throughout the day. I can't really offer too much advice on how to deal with that, but I guess all I can say is just go to bed early when you can, and also to take advantage of the sleep-ins when you get the opportunity. I know if you've got other children, it probably won't happen as often, but be kind to yourself and really try and look after yourself. For me, my experience with fatigue is made worse because I'm pretty sure before I was pregnant, I was actually addicted to coffee. It was bad. And now that I'm pregnant, I'm obviously reducing my caffeine intake. So now I just have like a half strength coffee in the morning, and then that gets me through most of the day. And then at around 11 or 12, if I really need it to get through work, I'll have another half strength coffee, and that will get me through the rest of the day well enough. But I think half of my fatigue is from pregnancy and the other half is because I'm so used to having so much caffeine and now I'm trying to get rid of it. So sending love and thoughts to you if you're going through that at the moment as well. It's not easy, but we can get there. Thankfully, with my last pregnancy, the fatigue ended at around 12 weeks. I had a really good, energetic second trimester. So I'm hoping that I get that again and that, I'll get that boost of energy I need to get through the rest of this pregnancy. A fourth early pregnancy symptom is changes in your breast. This can be changes in the color of your nipples, can be changes in the tenderness or cramps and soreness. I know for me, my boobs have become quite swollen already and they're really sore. Putting on sports bras and that kind of thing usually doesn't hurt, but they're already starting to hurt now. That can also be a symptom that many people experience in their first trimester of pregnancy. Also keep an eye out for some colostrum. I know for most people they don't start leaking colostrum until later on in their pregnancy, but for me with my first child, I think I first started leaking at around 10 or 11 weeks. So I'm curious to see if that'll be the same this time or not. It wasn't painful in any way, but it was just another change with your body getting ready to welcome a baby into the world. The fifth early pregnancy symptom is mood swings. I wish I could say that that wasn't the case for me, but it definitely is. I've cried probably 10 times in the past 7 days, which is usually not like me, but with extra hormones and stress at work as well. But aside from that, early pregnancy can bring out all of the emotions. I go from being really energetic to being really tired to being really upset to being really stressed out, which is all really hard to manage, but I just try and think of the positives. I know daily affirmations really help me. Every morning on YouTube I upload a daily affirmation to help me get through the day and hopefully help encourage other mums out there to get through the day as well. I think it's also really important to be really open with your partner about those mood swings. It can be a little bit rough for them having to deal with us and the ups and downs, but that's what they've got themselves into. So I highly recommend having open conversations with them, and if you do feel yourself becoming really overwhelmed, you need to reach out to them, ask for that bit of support, ask for that bit of extra help, and also speak to the trusted family members and friends that you have around you. I'm sure they would be more than happy to help take the weight off, even if it's just someone to talk to. If anyone else has some tips for managing these 5 pregnancy symptoms, please comment them below. I would love to read your tips and tricks and to share that with the community that we create here. Early pregnancy symptoms can vary from woman to woman and they can vary from pregnancy to pregnancy, but the 5 main early pregnancy symptoms are a missed period, morning sickness, fatigue, breast changes, and mood swings. If you've experienced any of those 5, it might be worth taking a pregnancy test just to find out whether you might be pregnant or not. Remember that pregnancy is so different for everyone, so don't hesitate to ask your doctor if you have any concerns. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.